Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mock Report, or welcome back to the Mock Report. This is our Week 9 broadcast. Unfortunately, because of family issues that happened on Wednesday, I was not able to record, and Matt isn't able to join me this week. Matt, known as Mr. Sixer, me as ProStacksBrandon. Anyways, I'm going to pump out our show as fast as possible so that I can have all these videos uploaded in time for Sunday. Like I said in our previous videos, I'm just an average Joe with a family, so I gotta do this as quick as I can. So we're gonna get right into main slate Mayhem. Now, big notes here for the main slate Mayhem. My favorite game of the week was going to be Indy at Houston, but now Deshaun Watson out with an ACL, going to be gone for the rest of the year, and was having a sensational rookie season. This game is no longer one of my focuses on the main slate, although I do have some players that I'm going to play in it. It's not really going to be a focus for this segment. So for this segment, I'm going to go to some of the other games that I was looking at. Tampa Bay and New Orleans. I know that myself and Matt agreed that it has shootout potential. Now, a lot like last week where Houston and Seattle, it wasn't exactly favorable for Houston against Seattle. And a lot of people thought that Watson would have taken a step back in this game because of that Seattle D, which wasn't the case. We had a shootout, and it was actually pretty awesome. If you had ownership, I kind of faded a lot of Houston, but like if you had any of those players like Fuller and Hopkins, Watson, Lamar Miller, even, like you exploded. That won you the week. So without further ado, we will get into the main slate Mayhem. Looking at Tampa Bay and New Orleans, New Orleans has a decent defense. I'm kind of taking as like I'm kind of reading into it, whereas Tampa Bay's coming off a couple bad games. Winston had some, terrible interceptions, but I do think that he's going to come on strong. He's not a terrible quarterback, and I think this is a good spot for it. They are in the Superdome, so Breeze is favored. He's one of my favorite plays this week at the quarterback. He's pretty much going to be in, I'd say, close to 70-80% of my lineups, followed with stacks either with Ginn or Michael Thomas, and my running backs are going to be Ingram and Kamara. I'll spread them out throughout my rosters, but as far as New Orleans in this game, those are the players that I'll be targeting. On the Tampa Bay side, you're going to target Jameis Winston, obviously, and you're going to target Mike Evans, Cameron Brate, Deshaun Jackson, and Doug Martin. Those are going to be the main slate Mayhem kind of big plays that I'm predicting that there's going to be a shootout in this game. And like I said, Tampa Bay's got a bad defense. New Orleans is a decent defense. But I do think that there is potential for a high-scoring game. Another game that I'm really looking at that I was on even with the Indy-Houston game, I was going to kind of split some of my rosters with this, would be the Rams at the Giants. Now, I know the Giants beat a really good defense in Denver, which should not have happened, but I do think that, Jared Goff is going to have a game here. He's very low in DK pricing, so he could be a budget quarterback, and you can fit a lot more of the big weapons into your lineups like this. For instance, if you have Goff, you stack him with either Robert Woods or Cooper Kupp, and I like Cooper Kupp in this because the Giants aren't a terrible defense, so it could force a lot of things into the slot, and Cooper Kupp being that slot receiver in the kind of absence of a tight end in the Rams offense, Cooper Kupp could see a lot of receptions and potentially some touchdowns. The other big name in this is Todd Gurley, who's been a fantasy points monster. Even though they're not really favoring the run for the Rams, I would still say that he's worth a shot. He's almost matchup proof. If they get in the red zone, chances are he's going to pound it in. And if he's not going to pound it in, he's always good for a reception. So Todd Gurley is my running back play. He's pretty much going to be in 90% of my rosters. On the other side, you can look at the fact that New York has a lot of suspensions. You're going to look at basically, you have Sterling Shepard back, but the Rams have an okay pass defense. Where you're going to look for your value is in the tight end position with Ingram. I've said this before. He's pretty much, like, he's seeing a lot of the targets now because of their entire receiving core has been decimated. So I would look to play him in this matchup, as well as Gallman, who is a cheap option if you wanted to fit some more high-priced guys in there. And just to give you another kind of matchup, two games that you could look at, Kansas City and Dallas. Kansas City has a terrible defense against wide receivers, so Des Bryant could have a game here. And I believe I read that, what's his face? Cole Beasley, he's questionable. He's been limited at practice, so Dez might see a lot of action in this. Another game that I'm really looking at is Arizona-San Fran, and not because of the Jimmy Garoppolo trade, mostly because of the Palmer injury. Arizona's favored like in the run game, so AP could be a play here. Ellington could be a play here. If you want to take a flyer on Stanton, you never know. Like, people have shown up when they come in to fill in after big injuries. But I'm mostly looking at Kittle. I'm going to taste the rainbow with George Kittle in this game. He's a target machine, a lot like Doyle has been on Indy. And actually, Carlos Hyde has a pretty decent matchup in this game.